Okay, now we have gone live on Facebook and also recording has started. Let me just confirm on Facebook. I am going on mute so that I don't go back. Yes, sir, everything is set. Now we can actually, after a few minutes, there is still 1 minute left, and that's your call when to start now.
We'll start in a minute.
Yes, sir, everything is set.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nam. Hello, everyone. Today is a difficult day to start a class because tomorrow Ramzan is starting and people must be very busy, but we have to study. I have some, depends on how you look at it. I have some good news for you that this is our last class before the summer holiday and Ramzan holiday. We will have the next class after Eid. Tomorrow we'll have the Urdu class, but after that we'll for the Ramzan for 1 month the classes will be off. Now let's start. I'm going to share my screen. But don't think the good news is that, or the bad news is that for the month, the classes will be off, but you will be working on a project. The project is basically documented in our repository. If you go and check in our repository, I've documented project 1, creating a token and launching a ICO and IDO. We'll discuss it later in the class that what is required in the project. But let me, for a brief 5-10 minutes, review the material before going into the requirements of the project, which is due after Eid.
Yes, so this would be great. At least it will.
Therefore, what we'll do is we will keep studying in Ramzan, but everybody will study at their own time and at their own pace. Now let me show you. Now what I have done is I have created a repository. It is step 6B. And we are basically going to learn how to basically create a ERC20 token and basically run some tests and then deploy it on a test network. It will not take more than 15-20 minutes. Now, first of all, take a look at this. What I have done is basically, let's start from the beginning. I've basically documented everything. Create a directory of your project, whichever token you want to build. So the first step is create a project directory. In that project directory, basically you give a command npm init. What it does is basically creates a project.json file where you can add your dependencies. Therefore, the first thing you have to do is install basically a Red Hat environment. For that, you basically install npm package by giving this command, and then to create the project and update all the Red Hat, Hard Hat, which is a development environment for Ethereum, which we have already covered. You just give npx Red Hat, Hard Hat, sorry. I'm continuously saying Red Hat. Now, what it will do is basically create all these, if you look at it, let's see, all these files, the test file, the distribution file, node modules files, and everything. It will basically do that. Now going back, then the next step is that you install the Open Zeppelin library. How do you do that? You basically say npm install at the rate of Open Zeppelin /contracts. And you also add a plugin, upgrades, Hard Hat upgrade, which also creates a, now what you have do, you have that development environment, which is Hard Hat. You have Open Zeppelin library, and so on. Understand, we are now trying to develop a token which you can deploy over the internet on the blockchain, and we do that now. Now let's start working on it. The first thing is take a look at hard hat config.ts. This is that when you are, a point to notice that when you are giving the command npx hard hat, please note this. You must create an advanced TypeScript project. Yes, Basit, you have a question?
Yes, sir. I want to ask that what this hard hat upgrades will do.
It's just a plugin. I'll just show
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I will just show you. So now, what? Please remember to select advanced TypeScript project when you're giving this command npx hard hat. Then you basically import Open Zeppelin Hard Hat upgrades. Where? Let's take a look. Hard Hat config. What we have done is this file we were basically upgrades, basically added this, and we are importing it here. So therefore, what it does is basically it allows you to connect to Open Zeppelin projects. We'll take a look later. Let's go back. When you start, they would have already created a greeted or sold file. You are going to delete that. And you are going to create a ERC20 token library. But just Open Zeppelin, visit. You can also do it here and basically copy the code in your directory. You can basically say, if I want a mintable, you can add it, adds all the methods and everything. So therefore, if you want to develop a simple token, you just go to the widget and copy it. Select all the required things and copy it. Sorry, I'm going back. Let me copy it in the chat also, that if somebody doesn't have the link, everybody should have the link, but just in case. Now we go to mytoken.sol. I'm just copying that file here, which I had created in the wizard. And what I'm doing is basically, if you go back, let me show you what is in the, go to node modules. In node modules, you go to Open Zeppelin, contracts, token, ERC20 token, ERC20.sol. Basically, we are extending this. And as you can see, we have already discussed in the last class, it has all the methods, required methods. It is the name, symbol. Everything is done for you already. Name, symbol, and so on. Look at this. Transfer, allowance, approval, transfer from. Every method is already coded in Open Zeppelin, unless you want to override it. Now coming back, I've already told you, basically review these two points. Now, we want a mintable. Mint means that you must be able to create a new token. So therefore, instead of directly extending ERC20, what we are doing is, we are ERC20 preset mint pauser. What do you mean? Basically nothing. Basically what we are saying is that we are going to extend look at this thing. ERC20 preset minter and pauser. This is a ERC20 standard, which is preset. It allows, it already adds the methods for minting, that creating new tokens and pausing the contract. Nothing else. Then going back to the, then you will give a command npx hardhat compile. What you do is basically go at the command prompt. I have documented everything for you. It has compiled the thing, this Solidity file. Then what we do is, let's go back and read it. Then we want to run some tests. Let's write first some test. Go in the test directory. And in the test directory, I'm writing test. Basically, I've written two tests. We are using Ethos to do it. We are getting address of the signer, the contract factory, and we basically give it the command deploy and wait for it to be deployed. Then we basically mint the token. And remember, this is not being deployed to the live network. It is your local machine, it is being deployed. Hardhat is your own development environment. Then what we've done is we have minted the first coin. Then we are checking that the total supply is 1000 because we minted 1000. And we are also checking the owner has 1,000 because we named it we minted it in his name. This is the first test. That's what is the second test? In the second test, I'm transferring the coins from one account to another account. Just like the first test, we minted, then we transferred 10. Now the balance of one is 990 and the balance of other is 10. So therefore, what we are doing is basically now checking. Let's see. Now let's run the test. What is the command? NPS run test. Let me just, because I don't remember these things. All these two passed. Therefore, this is the test. Now let's first, again, let me repeat it again. I've created a hard hat environment. I have added Open Zeppelin library. I have written a contract. I have written a test. And before writing the test, I've compiled it, the contract, and I have written the test, and then ran the test, and everything ran perfectly. Everything is now being done locally at this stage. What is the next step? The next step is let's deploy the thing. We have another script, which in the scripts we have deploy. It's the same thing, ethers. We basically are get contract factory, deploy, and we are basically printing the token address. I've already printed it for you. I've already deployed it for you. It is, if you go to README, this is the token address. It has been deployed here. On which network? On Ropsten. On Ropsten network, it has been deployed. So therefore, that's the beauty of it. Now you have deployed, you are now you have become a state bank. You have deployed your own network or your own token on the network. And you can issue it to anybody you want. So therefore, this is the project of deploying and basically, and everything is basically documented. Now, I know everybody is busy today, but we have to cover this quickly. What will be the project in the class? The project is due after Eid. What is that? After Eid, create a token and launch a ICO and launch an ICO, IEO, IDO. This is the project. Let me see. The first thing you have to do is read through it. You have to understand the difference between IDO, IEO, and ICO. This will allow you to basically generate a lot of cash for your new projects. Now I've added all the list of top ICO list of ICO drops you can buy. Now the first thing is you have to understand. Part one is how to launch a IEO. I've given you an article where you can read. It has shown you have a reputable team, create an MVP prototype, tie up a best exchange to exchanges, check for legal regulations, craft a detailed white paper, invest in token development, establish a clear, we have already covered this, invest in token development, establish a clear funding goal, list your tokens, and promote widely marketed. Therefore, what I require you to do is create how to launch a presentation, how to launch on Binance Launchpad. You will create a Google Slides and give a presentation after Eid, how to launch your project on Binance Launchpad. That's the requirement number one, part one. This is project part one. Then part two is launch a IDO, which you will read in the above article. What is IDO? Initial DEX offering on Polka Starter. So therefore, you have to write two presentations. Go on Google Slides. One is how to launch on Binance Launchpad and how to launch on Polka Starter. A new project, a new token. Then the third part is the technical part. The first one was the two marketing parts. Create a Paco token. I've just given a name Paco. Create a Paco token, which I've already covered. We have covered already. Basically, a ERC20 token. That is part three. Part four is develop a crowd sale contract. What is crowd sale? Basically, the next step after developing a contract is that how do you sell it? And then we go forward. Part five. How do I use my token in MetaMask? I've documented all this. That's part five. Part six is trying on a multi-sig wallet. What is a multi-sig wallet? Multi-signature wallet, which I have given you the requirements, that makes your funds very safe. You'll require at least 2 or more signs before you basically withdraw your funds, or anybody can withdraw your funds. Therefore, it makes your code very safe, your money very safe. The part 7 is sending tokens using ether.js. Part is creating an NFT. This is an advanced project, and your target is that after doing this, you will be able to do it. So therefore, I have given you the complete background on how to, we have already covered in the last class, how to define a ERC20 token. And in this, we have defined how to basically deploy it, and your project number 1, which is due after Eid. All our classes will be off during Ramzan, and after Eid, in the first class, we will discuss this project, and we have already covered ERC20 tokens, and then we start covering NFTs. So therefore, you have a 1-month project. You will learn how to create tokens, how to sell tokens, how to raise funding on tokens, how to do crowd sale in this project, and it will help you a lot. Basically, that's it for today. I know you have to go and do a lot of shopping and rest of the stuff. Any questions?
Sir, I just want to ask that how we can launch our token on Binance, because there are a lot of requirements to launch something on Binance or any centralized exchange.
That's the whole point. That is your project. That is your first project. How to launch on Binance Launchpad. It gives all the requirements. I've given the links, and you are going to do a research and create a presentation to do it.
And
So
so,
we need-
one thing more, I just wanted to know that after Ramadan, we are going to resume from here.
Yes, we'll check your projects after Ramadan.
So I think how many projects?
This is one project with 8 steps. Project 1.
Okay, sir, I will try my best to do this. Sir, another thing I will ask.
Yes, it's a very powerful project. If you complete this, you can start your consulting firm immediately, inshallah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Another thing, question related to the bootcamp 2021. This still is after the 12 project. Is this Paraglot still accepting this project and offer the internships?
Yes, we do. We do. The thing is, you have to, if you know the steps, I will be running after you. It's not the other way around.
Thank you, sir.
So we have to build the front end as well to connect to the MetaMask.
No. Right now, we have not covered front end. We are not required to create front end. You
Right.
just have to basically, in one of the parts, you have to learn ethers a little bit to basically connect, which you are already doing in test project.
Sir, I just wanted to know one thing. I wanted to, in fact, add one thing more. If we could add deflationary tokens in our course as well, because right now there is a lot of demand for these deflationary tokens.
Yes, that is just a deflationary token is nothing but where you can basically decrease the supply to
No,
increase the
secondly,
price.
like now there are ERC20s which are, inheriting all these routers from Uniswap and all that stuff.
When we go in the advanced class, we will cover that.
Thank
God
you, sir.
willing. But it is critical. Everybody, if you want to learn, don't waste your month of holiday. This is not holiday. It is the project. You have to complete the project because you will learn alone. Without doing the project, you will not learn anything.
No, definitely, sir. We'll definitely do
Please
it.
definitely try. Please definitely try. Any other questions before we close the class? Okay. And Eid Mubarak to everyone. Happy Ramzan to everyone. See you guys after Ramzan.
Same to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thanks a lot, sir.